Okay, hi, I am Dawn, and thank you for joining my very first blab. I am going to be talking with you about CBD and health. Different. I'll be sharing some different websites with some great information, and I have some videos for you. And I just hope that we can share some information with the rest of the people um, around the country that can't use the THC, but they can use CBD nationwide. That if it's an isolate without any THC in the product. So right off the bat, I know that a lot of you, because I know um, the Rev knows a lot about THC, and but he does not have access to a lot of CBD in Maine because with the medical marijuana states, a lot of them are doing very high THC grows, and when that happens, it's a very low CBD that goes along with it. So your endocannabinoid system with the CB1 and CB2 receptors need both the THC and the CBD. So what happens is you're getting a lot of THC, but the immune system, the CB2 receptors actually work really well with the immune system, and um, those require CBDs and not THC. So for those who live in medical marijuana states, it's great that you can get that THC, but it's hard to find a supplement of CBD to really help in those instances where medically you do need it. So first thing I'm going to do is assume that you guys don't know a whole lot about CBDs, and I understand that a lot of you do, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll get some replays for some people who just really don't understand the health benefits, and this way we can expose them to it. So for those of you who don't know, CBD stands for cannabidiol, and that's one of the compounds found in the cannabis plant. There is a lot of compounds found in the cannabis plant. There's the CBDs and the THCs, and there's CBDAs and CBDNs and CBD all sorts of different letters. But the main thing is that is what it is. It is a compound in the cannabis plant. And so the next thing is like, all right, gotcha. All right, it's a compound. So what about it? So the good thing about Blab is that it lets us show you. So what we have here, CBDs, first of all, CBD is non-psychoactive. So the THC has a psychoactive side. The CBD is a non-psychoactive side, but they both come from the same plant. And depending on the strain of the plant, you'll either have high CBD or you'll have high THC, or you can even get a one-to-one. Long time ago in Indian days, there was a very much a one-to-one ratio, but things have changed a lot. A lot of breeding has happened, and you don't find a whole lot in nature. So it's good for reducing nausea and vomiting, for suppressing seizures, combating psychosis disorders, inflammatory disorders, neurodegenerative, tumors in cancer cells, and anxiety and depression. We have several clients and customers that are infants in Children's Hospital with seizure disorder. And we are very fortunate that the hospital works closely with us and with their patient to monitor their progress, and so that we can get them up to a certain level of CBD in their system. As itty bitty infants, we got to start small. We got to just bring it up to help the kids. And so that's why we are very careful. We don't grow or sell anything with a high THC content. There are plenty of people that do, and plenty of people that you can get that from, but that's really not our thing. So because we work closely with people who can't have THC. And then also, so with respect to some of our clients with cancer that are going through radiation and chemotherapy, so it's really well with nausea and things like that. So there's just a few things that CBD can help with. And it's a very natural plant-grown product. We do not add anything to it. The good producers don't add anything to it. It's basically an extraction process, and at the end, everything is vacuumed out. We don't use CO2 in our extraction process because they have found out that if you use CO2 in the extraction process, it can actually create little bubbles in it, and then if it's heated up to a high temperature, like if you're using a bolt or something like that, then that can actually cause what they call popcorn lung, and it's actually cancerous. So we don't do anything like that. It's not our groove. So let me just show you really quick here a little bit about the endocannabinoid system. Now, your body has an endocannabinoid system. And so we have CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, which I kind of talked a little bit about. CB1 receptors plug in with the THC. CB2 receptors plug in with the CBD. So as you can see, based on what you have going on in your body, it's good to have both CB1 and CB2. And you'll find that, THC and CBD, sorry, apologize for that. But you'll find that there are CBD in different foods that you eat, but just not to the level that it can be a therapeutic dose. And so that's kind of what we are about, we're about therapeutic dose. So as you can see in here, and excuse me as I pop over to my thing, a few different ways that you can ingest or use CBD. There's the oil, and so that would be with tinctures, with the nanogels, and some people have have put CBD in water, like they're actually selling CBD water in some places, so that's kind of cool. You can do pulmonary, which is inhaling it. And so that would be something we would have with our concentrate that we have for our very sick people. And then there's the topical. So we have, for salves and bath crystals and things like that, and spritzers to connect with those CB2s in your skin. So there are lots of opportunities, lots of ways to get these into your body. So there's a variety of different ways, and I just recommend that people do what makes them feel good. I wanted to share something with you. This is a great website, and I'm going to put it up on, and like I said, this is my first blab, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this properly, but I'm going to try. Okay, this website, I think can I put it up here? Okay, awesome. All right, this website has a wonderful wealth of information in it. It is a website of research, like research link kind of website, and it lists different disorders, diseases, illnesses, and in those links you can go to the articles to get more information about how CBD can benefit your health practice. And so I am kind of a research junkie. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to use CBD, and of course, to each their own, and everyone has to do what they feel right for themselves. But what I don't like is sick people that are being told by other people that, based on the several decades of the status of CBD and THC, that it's a war on drugs, blah 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 blah. You know what? We have a lot of catching up to do. We've got to catch up with the UK, who has already got, I think it's called Sativex, one of their pharma products that is a CBD based product that they are doing clinical studies on with the epilepsy with children with epilepsy. We have Spain, which has done numerous studies on CBD and THC in healthcare, especially they're going gangbusters when it comes to breast cancer and the effect of CBD and THC on breast cancer. Of course, Israel has been doing this for decades, has been researching this for decades, and they are able to provide us with a lot of great information. Unfortunately, our country has a lot of catching up to do, and it bugs the crap out of me. So I know that we are starting some studies. I know that CU Boulder has some. I know that Children's Hospital in San Francisco is doing some. There's several schools, teaching hospitals that are now doing research, and I'm so grateful for it, so that we can really get some information out there, because a lot of people, unfortunately, won't pay attention to studies that are outside of our little, see that map there? Outside of the boundaries of our country. So I welcome you to take a look at this website. It's from the Cannabis Clinicians website. And then the other website that I was mentioning, there's a company, actually it is a Cannabis Clinicians, I apologize, Cannabis Clinicians Colorado is an organization that actually is certified to teach continuing education units to MDs about CBD and THC. So honestly, we can't really blame the doctor, because the doctors are prohibited from prescribing. They can recommend, but they cannot prescribe the use of CBD or THC. And they have not been taught how CBD affects, for example, chemotherapy or radiation or anything like that. So they're at a loss. So now finally there are organizations that are going out there and are providing that information for physicians. And I'm just very grateful for that. So I just wanted to share this site for you. I hope that that you're able to save it somewhere. And if you ever have a question or a health concern, check it out and see what they say, or see what the studies are showing about being able to use natural products to improve your health. So another thing that I wanted to share with you is that a lot of people don't have access to, and I actually played it ahead of time when I was practicing, trying to figure out how to drop links in and stuff. So I apologize if, well, I know that the Reverend has already seen this while he was doing his laundry. So you may want to tune out for a minute, Rev. But I wanted to show you the company I work for, Ambry Gardens. So we grow our own and do our own processing. We have our own biochemists and all of that. And there are a lot of other companies that, you know, around the country that do this. So I'm just speaking about mine. I'm not saying, hey, Ambry Gardens, woo, 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 although I happen to like him, and we did win the very first award in Colorado for hemp concentrate with 0 THC. Yay, go team! But I wanted to show you what it's like in a grow room, and because not a lot of people get to see this side of it. So here you go, and I hope you enjoy this.
My name is Samer Abelmona. I'm the Director of Horticulture for Ambry Gardens. This is the vegetative room. This room is where our plants start and grow vegetatively before they're big enough to go and flower. Cannabis is photosensitive, and so it's dependent on a light cycle and its environment to know when it needs to bloom and when it needs to vegetate. It's an annual plant. It's naturally, it sprouts in the spring, lives through the summer, and flowers in the late summer, early fall, and is harvested at the end of fall. In our system, because we obviously are a commercial setup, and we try to maintain demand and maintain a steady supply of CBD oil for our customers, we run a perpetual greenhouse, which means we are an outdoor grow technically. However, we have a semi-enclosed environment where we can heat and cool our atmosphere so that we can grow year-round. And to be able to grow year-round with annual plants, you need a perpetual vegetative room, which is what this is, where again plants start small and grow up to about this big, which takes roughly 8 weeks. And then from here, they get moved into a different room where they flower. And what that does is it helps us keep this room full of plants ready to flower, so that every week we're harvesting flowers, every week we're planting new ones, so that we're constantly having a supply of fresh, ready to extract material for our lab, so that, again, we can meet the demand of the people who need our product. This is our first flower room. This is where plants move from the vegetative room into begin the flowering cycle. In here, their light cycle changes. So in here, all year round, it's 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of sunlight, or 12 hours of night, I'm sorry. And that is what gives them the internal chemical trigger to begin to flower. So in here, they stop trying to grow big and green, and they start focusing on producing female flowers. And the female flowers are where all of the CBD is produced. So the reason that we only grow females and we only specifically select high CBD flowers is because to get an efficient extraction to produce as much CBD per square foot as humanly possible in our facilities, we want to maximize how much CBD each plant is growing. And the trichomes and the oils that the plant makes, it makes in its female flowers mostly by far. So in a female plant that can make 20% CBD, its male counterpart can only make 3 or 4%, maybe 5%, depending on how long you let it live. So this style optimizes our CBD per square foot and makes us as efficient as possible to again be able to supply as much CBD to as many people who need it as possible. So this is our second and largest flower room. Again, this is where plants come to finish their life cycle out and to produce the flowers. Everything that we grow is grown as organically and as naturally as possible. We don't use chemical pesticides, we don't use chemical fertilizers. Everything that we do is as organic and as natural as possible, and it's all safe for human consumption. We try to maintain as clean and as natural of an environment in here as possible, because our end goal is helping people who potentially might have a compromised immune system. And so it's very, very important to us to make sure that from the very beginning of the process through the extraction process, that all of our plants are as clean and as high quality as possible, so that again, the people who need them the most are getting something that's going to help them, not hurt them in the long run. Most hemp farms are outdoor grows, and the way that they're harvested is on a big truck, the way you harvest anything else. Plants get chopped and get piled on top of each other, and what that does is it produces mold and mildew, and it produces pest infestations. It degrades the actual CBD in the plant, which means that you're not getting as much CBD out of your extractions. And so our plants, even after they've been harvested, they're well taken care of. They're hung in a clean, sterile environment. They are trimmed by people who are wearing gloves and who are educated on clean practices. And we make sure that all plants never touch the floor, never get dirty, never get moldy. Anything that does, for whatever reason, look like it doesn't quite meet our standards gets thrown away. While yield is very important to any commercial grow, our primary concern is quality and health of the patient or health of the consumer, and so we never sacrifice quality for quantity, and yield becomes a secondary issue when we're talking about making sure we're providing a healthy product for our consumer.
So that was my friend Samer, and he is one of the partners and is in charge of all of the genetics for our grows. And we actually just were written up in the Denver Post because we now have a second location, 70,000 square feet in Arvada, that we are growing in as well. Because the demand is pretty great right now, which is wonderful because that means a lot of people are getting healthy. So I am afraid to do much else here. You know what I do? What I want to do? I want to show you some products. I want to show you some different ways that you can do CBD. And I'm sorry I'm not doing like open seats and stuff, but since this is my first lab, I'm a little timid and I don't want to mess up. So, oh, Jordy. Oh, so we actually, Jordy is from the Netherlands, and he's saying he's jealous of the current laws in some of the states in the U.S. right now. And Colorado is a very good state when it comes to cannabis laws. Now, in several of the 27 states that allow industrial hemp production now, some of them just for studies, but a lot of them for using hemp in different industrial hemp in different ways. Oh, it's illegal there. Yeah, no, it's not legal here. So there are several states that have medical marijuana laws and that will allow home grows. Different states have different regulations. A lot of state to state variances. Colorado is a very friendly one. Although one of the reasons that CBD is very important, in my opinion, is because of the laws in Colorado. So in the state of Colorado, although it is recreationally legal for you to grow and consume, smoke, eat, whatever, marijuana, so that's all the way up to THC, not just CBD, but all the way through THC. The thing is that if you get in an accident, they can drug test you and say that you're driving under the influence, even if you haven't smoked in a week. If you're, let me clarify that. So if you're a daily smoker and it's built up into your system, but you haven't smoked in a week, it's still in your system. And so there is actually a legal limit of the amount that you can have in your system. And if you have that, whether you're stoned or not, you could be found guilty of, you can be arrested for driving under the influence. And even if you are found innocent later because you have a good lawyer, that's a lot of money to spend for that. So that the thing with the CBD products is that you do not, the THC in our products in an industrial hemp product is less than 0.3% THC. And so you can take this every single day and it's not going to show up because the minimal amount. So even in a hair follicle test, it's not going to show up in a test. So here is an example of a way to take CBD, and I'm guessing you take THC this way too, in medical places. But so this is a tincture. Now with tinctures, now this is a very, 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 very old process. I mean, like this literally was done with the Romans, so that's how long ago they've been using this process. So since 2000, and so it's just liquid eyedropper. You take an eyedropper full, stick it under your tongue, swallow it. It's all good. The newer technology is the nano-encapsulated, and that's actually not very common. Nano-encapsulation has been around for a while, but the use of it has not been very widespread, because if you nano-encapsulate something, you're really making it really strong, and you better know darn sure that it's not going to hurt somebody. I mean, like just a smidge of like a Vicodin or something in a nano-encapsulated form can actually literally kill a person, and so we don't want that. So the nano-encapsulation with the CBD is different because it's not something that you can OD on. Let me give you a little bit of information about nano-encapsulation, because it is something that's very interesting, and the great thing about nano-encapsulation is that you can very much control the dosage. You can so because of the way that it's processed, and because of the way that your body processes it, it makes that CBD molecule very, 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 very small, very minuscule. And so as you put it in your mouth and as you're swallowing it, it's already being absorbed into your bloodstream. So we've also got it encapsulated into a soy type of oil, so that some of it is processed later in your body. So it's a fast acting, like within 10 minutes at fast. A lot of people even faster, but it's also got a time release aspect for the stuff that's not immediately brought into your bloodstream. So the difference being that with the nano-encapsulated products versus the tinctures go through your digestive system and get filtered out, and a percentage of it will get filtered out in your liver and with your digestive system. So you don't get the efficacy of the entire 500 milligrams in the bottle, or whatever that the milligrams are in your bottle of the active CBD. But with the nano-encapsulation, since it's not getting filtered out, you get a much higher percentage of that CBD, and it's very fast acting. And so that's actually something that is a great way to find out if something's going to work for you. Because when you're taking, like, if you're in pain, you're taking it, then you'll know pretty quickly if it's going to work for you. And also, the nano-encapsulation is being used in the salves and tinctures as well, so that it's absorbing into your bloodstream in your skin that much faster, and so that the pain relief is much faster. And I'm actually going to give you an example here. So Larry, our buddy Larry, came into our office the other day, and actually it's been about 2 weeks now, and he had run out of his tincture. And so when you're on the tincture or the nano, he takes it every day, and you'll see in just a second. But he came in and he was in pain. He is on chemotherapy and radiation. So he was in a lot of pain, and we sat him down and got some nano in him right away, and then within a few minutes he could sit up straight again, and he was feeling better and a little better. And then within about 5 to 10 minutes, this is what he had to say.
Larry Graziani. I was diagnosed with glioblastoma stage 4, which is brain cancer, the worst kind you can get, in July. Had surgery, had it extracted, but then it started to progress, which means it's growing back. I started CBDs probably 5 weeks ago. And what I've noticed, I won't know if the CBDs are working on my brain cancer, but it has worked dramatically on the pain caused by the chemotherapy. And so I do it twice a day. It really makes me pain-free, and there are no side effects, unlike chemotherapy. So I'm a firm believer in it, and I go into everything with a little bit of skepticism. I want to, kind of show me attitude, and the CBDs have helped me tremendously with my pain. Thank you.
So that's our Larry. He is a doll. He is a very sweet man, and was stage 4 brain cancer that came back, and we're hoping that he is going to pull through this. We have another stage 4 customer who has benefited greatly from the anti-seizure qualities of the product. So it has kept him alive since last May, and he was recently able to get neurosurgery, which he was not healthy enough before to be able to get. So we're thrilled with that. We love our customers. Now, here's something I wanted to show you. Let's see if this is gonna let me take it in here. Let me try to find another one. Oh, I know why. Okay, so for those of you who have not used the drop-in yet, let me give you a quick hint. Take off the HTTP before you drop something in, because it's not going to work if you had the HTTP in there. So you just, and no www either. Just start with the first letter after the www or after the HTTP, because it will not work. all of your little anything that you're dropping in has to be on a server. So if you do, I use Imgur, imgur.com, and then I get the URL from there, strip off the beginning, just to let you know. So when you're doing your blab, maybe it will work for you. So now this one doesn't want to come in. Okay, so let me just tell you what we have here. So one of the products that we have that actually even Larry, as sick as he is here it comes, is reticent to use, but is using it because he needs it, because this is the strongest way to get medication in, is through a concentrate, and this is a 0 THC, 88% CBD concentrate. That's 1 gram right there. That's actually what we won our award for, and the reason that he's afraid to use this is because of the stigma over the last 30 years when it comes to smoking marijuana. Well, okay, first of all, this is a CBD. This is not a psychoactive. This is absolutely 0% THC. And actually, the state testing company tested it. We had 4 different tests on it to prove that it was 0% THC. At the competition, it was the state licensed testing company that also verified that there is 0 THC in this. And but in a lot of people's minds, it's like, oh no, I can't smoke that. It's like, oh my gosh, do you want to be healthy? This is the fastest and quickest way that we can activate your endocannabinoid system, and the endocannabinoid system is what really affects your immune system, and we want to get you healthy. And you can take the drops, you can take a whole bottle of the drops, but this takes 5 minutes and is a lot faster and is concentrated and can get into your system. And so the thing that bothers me is the stigma that surrounds this, and that is why Big Pharma will stick it in a pill and give it to you, and it'll work. It'll take a while, just like any product, but they're not going to give it to you in this form. They're not going to give you what on the THC side would be referred to as a dab, and have you inhale it, heat it up and inhale it. And so that is what bothers me. And actually, this concentrate is allowed in all 50 states because there's no THC in it. So all 50 states in America can use this hemp concentrate. And if you can smoke weed, your weed is going to be high THC, low CBD. There's just really not a lot of high CBD THC out there. And the best way, if you're trying to get a therapeutic dose, is, and if you're sick, if you're ill, is to do the concentrate. Now, and the concentrate, I'm not sure if it'll let you zoom in on it or anything like that, but I can email you a picture of it. Everything in there is all natural. There's no chemicals or anything like that in the product. But smoking it, if you could find a very high CBD hemp plant, then go for it. But unfortunately, very, very, very hard to find. Very hard to find. But yeah, you could do that. So let's see what we've got over here. Oh, so the Rev. So right now, and we are actually trying to get the gram price down significantly. Right now, the gram price is $80, and we just feel it's too high for retail. So we are beating up the owner, one of the owners, that's like, oh no, we can, but it's like, no, you don't understand, this is too high. And so we're trying to get it down to closer to like $50. But there's always ways around that. If with the wholesalers that I know for medical purposes, we gotta cut that price a little bit, and we will for people who need it. So let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, Rev. Hey Rev, are you gonna jump in with me? If I open it up, will you jump in? Thank you, Rev. Hold up. Okay, how do you jump in here, buddy? Are you brushing your hair? Let's see. Hi. I can't hear you. Oh, I think that's no.
Now?
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you.
Yeah,
How you
all right.
doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I went to the grocery store today
Mm-hmm.
and like did a couple errands. And sometimes going to the grocery store is like whatever, going to the grocery store, and then other times like halfway through the grocery store it feels like mile like 25 of a marathon or whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that was today. So I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm done with that and I'm home now. I still do have to put my laundry in the dryer, but I'd rather talk to you than do that.
So, do you want to tell them a little bit about your medical background and why you use THC and CBD?
I have multiple sclerosis, and so, but like I am a longtime cannabis user, like since before I was sick. And so now, I don't know, it's so interesting, right? Like as I've grown up into an adult, I feel like there's this more adult viewpoint on cannabis overall, like across the country. And so as the nation, I guess, is starting to like look at the medicinal properties of cannabis, I've found myself experientially like really trying to explore the medicinal qualities of cannabis. And um, I definitely am drawn to high CBD strains. When, you know, before I guess I really got into like cannabinoid profiles, I'd like say to like my guy, I'd be like, oh, I really like that one. Oh, I really like that one. And I'd hear back a lot, like, so weird. I don't get that feedback from other people. And then when the testing started happening and my guy started to go get tested, it just turned out that like these strains that I was like really partial to were lower THC and higher CBD strains.
And they're
So
not that easy to come by.
no, they're really not. And no, I'm not even talking like drastically. I'm just talking about like
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, you know what I mean? Like 1 to 2% THC testing back versus whatever 0.3, 0.4. Because it seems like so many strains are very, very low CBD.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so, what we were talking about the other day on your show was finding a way to supplement the CBD because you've got in Maine you've got the THC. I mean, your caregiver can give you the THC, but it's just not as common out there to have CBD, and so to be
yeah,
able to
no.
supplement it in a tincture or in a nano or in a concentrate, it just helps you for your CB2 receptors to click in there and get that boost
Yeah,
that.
the advent of concentrates too is like really helped to show me how much my body does like CBDs, right? Because so the concentrates that I get are made by my caregiver, and he so the concentration of CBD is just naturally going to be like a little higher than the flowers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I first started getting concentrates, I'd find myself like hitting my oil pen like all day long because it felt great. But then like halfway through the day, I'd find out that I just feel way too high.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, it's 3 in the afternoon. And I'm like high, like it's 2 in the morning and I'm 24 or whatever. And that's not no way to like live one's life either, not
Yeah.
every day anyway. And so I'm like really interested to explore it's because the testing is so great, right? Like this concentrate from you is 88% CBD. So
Mm-hmm.
when I
And
get
0% THC.
yeah, and when I get my concentrates tested, I can then like mix and match concentrates to create like custom cannabinoid profiles that suit me medicinally, which is
Exactly.
like a godsend, you know?
And that's what's so great about it not being like a pill that's being given to you, because everybody's body is different, and so you're able to tailor it to what you need and to what your body needs, which is not going to be what I need and what my body needs. And so it's really a great process, and to have a caregiver that can help with that as well is wonderful, because
Yeah,
it's
I
for
feel
people to
really,
be out there on their own just without any guidance. That's a little hard.
yeah,
But
totally. I,
but
I feel super fortunate to like have come down with this disease that's so effectively treated with cannabis, like the symptomatically. I mean, it sucks having MS, but if I'm gonna have a disease, I guess, or like if I'm gonna have a chronic illness, it's pretty good to have one that, I don't know, is treatable in this way that I seem like drawn to my whole life, right? In some way or another, or a sense of I was a teenager or whatever. I've always
and
liked,
your mother has it as well.
my mom has MS too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And she is like wicked, like stigma.
Hmm.
Yeah,
She's the person I'm talking. It's that, because we're of a certain age, that because I'll be 50 in July, and so we're at this age. It's like, ever since, for decades we were told no, 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 evil, 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 reefer madness, and it hasn't gotten us where we should be.
yeah,
And
no. And
you can, it can be, I don't know,
my
pharmacy lobbyists, whatever, but it needs to change, and it will change.
yeah, AHC for health. I'm definitely on a slew of pharmaceutical medications. Yeah, I take a drug called Tysabri that is a disease modifier that I get intravenously every 4 weeks. That is like this really miraculous medication that does these crazy things to keep my brain from getting eaten. And I'm on modafinil, which is a mild stimulant, which I take from time to time. That's something that I think that a higher CBD thing could help me get off of, though. I feel like a lot of times I take modafinil to try to get me over the hump of being uncomfortable in my body. It's not so much that I'm tired, it's that I don't want to move around because it's uncomfortable. But with like a little stimulant, it's like kind of pushes me through that some days. And I'm interested to do some experimentation with some like higher dose CBD to see if that if I can wean myself off of the modafinil a little bit more.
Yeah, and I have been able to um, wean myself off a bit from my asthma medication because of the antispasmodic characteristics of the CBD. And but I've been asthmatic since since I was a little baby. But it helps to calm down the spasms. So like the spasms in muscles, well, also the spasms in lungs. So it's a good thing. Anything I can do to take myself away from some of the products, some of the pharmaceuticals with the side effects of, like, one of the Advair side effect of Advair and albuterol is you can have a fatal asthma attack, and it increases your chance of having a fatal asthma attack. And that's how my cousin died. And it's just not really what I want to do. Whatever I can do to make myself healthier and to take less and less of the pharmaceuticals with the side effects that are scary, then the better. But I will always probably be on asthma medication, but just not as strong as it was in the past. So,
Don, could I ask you a little bit about like what's the experience of like doing a dab of the CBD concentrate?
I'm sorry, you
Oh,
blurted out a little bit there.
I'm
Could you say
sorry.
that again?
Could you tell me like what is like the experience of doing a dab of the concentrate? Like as,
Um,
because I know
it
like
is.
doing dabs can be intense.
Okay, well, we recommend also just like the size of a head of a pin
Yep.
type, or yeah, so very small. I've seen some people on the THC do like shatter or whatever, like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
I've seen some kids
But
that can do dabs. I'm like, whoa.
what are you doing? But hey, it's all good. As long as they're not driving, it's good. But it is. So it really depends on like what you're going through. If you're in pain, it's going to, you know, it's going to hit your brain and kind of open you up a little bit, relax you, and stop, just shutting down those pain signals. It's just it's see, the thing is it's like taking, I take the nano, the liquid.
Yep.
It's like taking the nano 10 times. So I mean, there's no euphoria or anything like that, but you
Is
can,
is there
you,
like
you can feel your symptoms.
is there like the expansion in the lungs? Does that happen? Like that's something I've noticed a lot about the switch to
I don't,
concentrates is that I can take a huge rip and it doesn't hurt my chest at all.
and
Like doesn't hurt. And then
as,
you exhale and then all of a sudden all those whatever they are, the little air pockets in your lungs start doing the expansion thing and you're like, whoa, oh, oh.
right. And well, and talking to someone with asthma, I can't get the huge inhalation that you can probably get.
Right.
So that's probably, but also, I don't know, are they doing with your concentrates, your THC concentrates, are they using CO2 or not? I think we talked about this before.
Well, they
Are they?
use CO2 at the dispensaries here. There's a couple dispensaries that make concentrates, but my guy
Uh-huh.
uses butane.
Okay, good. See if you can get them to switch to ethanol. It's even
Yeah,
better.
I'm going to talk. I actually talked to him just before you started this blab. I was like, hey, 'cause I had to talk to his wife about
Uh-huh.
for tomorrow too, and I was like, hey, Bill, like a couple quick things, but one of them's this. I'm watching this awesome blab, and so I'm going to show him the replay too.
Yeah, see if you can go with ethanol, and then with the vacuum processing at the end and
Yep.
all that. But yeah, because that's even cleaner for you than
Yeah, I was watching a blab a while ago where someone was talking about ethanol and some small percentage of propane on top of it. That was some kind of, and that kind of like freaked me out a little bit. But
scary.
um,
And also, if your guy wants to give me a call, like give him my information, and I can see if our lab people can talk to him a little bit.
awesome. Yeah,
Might
I
be
will
able to help him
totally
out
do that.
because we just want people to be healthy,
Yep.
and if that can help, then that would be a good thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely gonna watch this with him tomorrow. Or
yeah, very cool, very cool. We got 10 minutes left. So okay, so with respect to the concentrate, um, just like send me a message like on Twitter, or you have my email address, Mike, um, and I will shoot you the you might want to be connected with the wholesale side, which I'm a wholesale rep for, but so I have wholesale and retail. Um, so just let me know what you want, and I'll get you information on the concentrate for that. One of the things that I wanted to show you, and I talked to the Rev about this. I don't know if he's going to remember this the other night, is using CBD with pets. Now, and I'm talking about CBD isolates with no THC, because giving a pet THC is not necessarily the best thing that you could do, because you don't know how it's affecting them. Well, maybe you're really close to your pet, and so you could feel how it's affecting them. But for therapeutic value, being able to give them the straight CBD for anti-inflammatory is a great thing. So I wanted to share this little testimonial with you.
And then this little sister right here, she's 2 years old, super active, very athletic, and started having some aches and pains, hard to get up type stuff. And we found out that congenitally she has her last two vertebrae by her tail, where she was born with stenosis and a real compact spine. So the nerves were getting blocked, and so she had to get a really major surgery on her back end. She's about 2.5 months out now. Her incision's about this long. And anyway, she was on 3 different drugs, a muscle relaxer, meloxicam for inflammation, and then gabapentin for nerve pain. And I started thinking, why am I not using CBD on my dog? I just wanted to see, because what was happening was she in the morning just wouldn't get up. She would just lay in her bed till like 9:30, and normally she gets up at 6 when she feels good. And she just wouldn't get up, and finally I would kind of have to coax her up, and she would just scream and cry all the way to the door. So she was in a lot of pain. Anyways, I started giving her the CBD. I would give her about 8 drops twice a day. And in about 3 days, she was a little puppy again. I mean, only the last couple of days she's been a little stiff in the morning, but she's not crying like she was. She's off of her gabapentin. She's off of her meloxicam. I only have her on a muscle relaxer. And she literally is like a little puppy again. So it's really made a big difference for her, because animals are so sensitive. They don't need much. So I still just give her about 8 drops a day, twice a day on her food, and she gobbles it all up. So I'm a big fan, and so is Benelli.
So I've read some articles from I can't remember the initials, but it's like the AMA, but for veterinary, and they are doing studies on animals with that, and horses and dogs and all sorts of all sorts of animals. There's a lot of homeopathic animals and homeopathic veterinarians that are using it. They're going with the tincture on a lot of for on the wholesale side. That's what they're using a lot of, and one of our salespeople at the office has actually his dog did now pass, but for the last year she's a golden, and I think she was 15 or 16, but she had a lot of pain and she wasn't getting around very much. And so just 2 months ago, he took a video of her, and she'd been taking CBDs for a while, and he would never know she was 15 because she was not feeling the pain anymore. She'd get up to him as soon as he'd open the garage door. She'd be like jumping around and all excited and everything. It's just like she wasn't feeling the pain anymore, and so that was wonderful. But there are a lot of great studies for animals right now that are going on as well as humans, and we can't forget our pets. So it's a great product when you can share it with your pet. So, but do you have anything else, Rev, to any more knowledge to share with us?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm gonna DM you on Twitter though to connect about seeing like the wholesale retail price situations and whatever. You don't want to post a link in here for whoever's watching?
Actually, I will put I'll put that email in here so that if anyone has any questions.
Cool.
Did it show up in here? I don't know. Let me see. And Mike, I don't know if it's like essential oils, because I don't do anything with essential oils, so I'm not really 100% sure on that. Let's see. Okay, so that's just the general mailbox.
Okay.
doccbdcare@gmail.com. So if you guys if you need to shoot me an email or anything like that, if you have any questions, feel free to send it over to me. And if I don't know the answer, I can get the answer.
Awesome.
So we've got Evan, who's at the office, he's our guy that we were able to get from Merck, who is a wonderful guy. He's like 30 years old. It's
Is there
funny.
anybody else in the States doing what you guys are doing? I've heard of a couple Canadian companies, but nobody else in the
Yeah,
States that I know
and
of.
see, we have a great Canadian doctor that comes down and works with us because he treats a lot of people with with cancer with CBD. Dr. Wu, and he is in Canada, and he flies down and spends some time with us. So there are a few companies that are doing it, and it's great because there needs to be more. There needs to be a lot more. We need to have, in my opinion, there needs to be CBD in every pharmacy, over the counter. It's over the counter anyway. So if you're doing the isolate, it's available in all 50 states. Stick it in every Walgreens and let like aspirin or whatever, and let people do the research and find out what it can and can't do for them. It's going to be it's it's going to take people taking charge of their own health to make it more widespread.
Yeah, well, to like kind of trust their own experience a little
Mm-hmm.
more than like whatever they've been told for whatever
Yeah.
reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you were talking about like the stigma around like just inhalants in general. Like
Yes.
if you are inhaling something, then you are a degenerate in some way or another,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
that's an unfortunate stigma.
Yeah. It is. It is a very unfortunate stigma, and so it's just going to take a lot of education to get people over it, and it's going to take a lot of people saying the same thing also, because if you hear something from 10 people as opposed to hearing something from one person, then all of a sudden it has a little bit more weight to it.
Yeah, totally. Especially
And
if people are hearing it in 10 different ways from 10 different
yeah.
people with 10 different backgrounds. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's kind of where, well, isn't that kind of how true things kind of come about, right? When all of a sudden you find people from all these different walks of life and all these different angles and all these different motivations, and everybody's got a different like end game in their mind, but
Mm-hmm.
still the data is kind of pointing everyone in this one direction. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's going to take, younger people like you and older people like me and doctors and PhDs and all sorts of things. I've got one customer that she has stage 3 breast cancer, stage 4 thyroid cancer, but she also has her PhD in research. And she's a friend of mine, and my friend said, "Hey, you got to call Dawn. You need to get on the CBDs." I told her what was happening, and so she went and she did the research, and she said, "All right, hook me up." And she's my age, and I said, "All right, well, the best thing that I can do for you is to get you on the concentrate, and then also on the nano, both of those daily, twice a day, to get your immune system back up and working again." And she said, "I've done the research. I don't care. I'll smoke it." And I was like, "Awesome." So if you educate yourself and just to do when it comes down to it, you've got to do what feels right for you. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right to smoke, then don't smoke.
Yep.
Do the nano, do the oral, do the tincture, do something else. Because never do something that doesn't feel right to you. But make sure that you do the research so that you have the information, so you have your own relationship with the knowledge, and that you're not just listening to other people too.
Totally.
All right. Well,
Awesome
thank you.
blab, Don.
Thanks, Rev. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I hope that you were able to get some good information out of this. And I hope that it was also somewhat entertaining for you. And we'll see each other again sometime. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
I'm going to end the recording.